Welcome to Storytelling 16, my name is Henry. I am a native English speaker and a teacher in the Curso's Intense Study. This is an Intense Tips Podcasts episode, aimed at practicing English through audio text. Today we are going to study the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight number 2 part 3, but first I want to remind you how to proceed with the study of that text, how actually learn English in practice. You need to use the 3 study steps of the up-down method. Unveil, reading the text seeking to understand it, without focusing on grammatical details. Practice, reading plus listening intensely until you can understand the text in its entirety. Mastering, only listening practice, seeking to achieve 80% of native audio understanding. It's extremely important that you download the episode's PDF for a full practice during or after the episode. You can access it on the website, www.cursusintenseststudy.com.br/storytelling. Even though the focus of the methodology is to understand 80% of the text audio, never skip steps. Do each of the steps described above. This is a weekly study. All the most important words and structures are marked in green bold or purple bold, aiming to deepen in very important patterns. Today's text, besides being rich in context, it's also an amazing vocabulary. It's worth mentioning the various words present in the text. Put into, to spend a lot of time or effort doing something. Beg, to make a very strong and urgent request. Forgiveness, the act of forgiving or the willingness to forgive. Deftly, adverb, skillful, effective, and quick. Meanwhile, until something expected happens, or while something else is happening. Stream, water that flows naturally along a fixed route formed by a channel cut into rock or ground, usually at ground level. Caught up, to reach the same quality or standard as someone or something else. Double back, to turn and go back in the direction you have come from. Cannot, you'll find cannot in formal writing and speech to cannot or can't. These are the structures that I consider most important within this text. The others are easy to understand or were studied on the first storytelling course. Let's go to our native audio for a practical approach to the text. A great study week, and I'll see you in the next storytelling.
My Lady Bertilac, I cannot think what I have done to put such doubts into your mind.
Why, it seems strange that a knight, so famed the world over for his manners, grace, and chivalry to women, should have so promptly forgotten the lesson that I taught him yesterday.
I beg your forgiveness. What lesson was that?
Why, don't you recall? The lesson of a kiss?
Dear lady, if it pleases you, it shall be my honour to receive 1 kiss on the cheek.
Lady Bertilac kissed the knight gently on the cheek, and laughingly questioned him about the art of courtly romance. Sir Gawain deftly answered her questions, always with great courtesy, but skilfully denying her the chance to demand any more kisses. Until at last at mid-morning he allowed her just 1 more kiss, a parting one as is proper. She left him with a loving smile, and he rose and dressed for the day. Meanwhile, Lord Bertilac stood ankle-deep in a cold stream, a sword in his hand. The great wild boar stood higher up the hill, grunting menacingly, its bristles on end. It lowered its head and charged, with its ferocious tusks pointing straight at the knight. There followed a fight in which both rolled over in the stream. It was single combat, man versus pig, tusk against sword. But the boar got the worst of it. And Bertilac, though wounded, held its head up high. All around, the huntsmen blew their horns to celebrate the kill and their master's triumph. That evening, in the castle, Bertilac presented the huge, hairy head and the cuts of pork to Sir Gawain as his gift. And Sir Gawain, according to the rules of the game, gave Bertilac the winnings he had won during his day in the castle.
Ha ha! This is twice as good today. 2 kisses? At this rate you shall be a rich man. I thank you, Sir Gawain, once again for playing so fairly and so honourably. By St. Giles, you are the very best man I know. Now, let us dine and relax, and tomorrow let us play the game of trades a third and final time.
In the morning, after Mass and a quick bite of breakfast, Bertilac mounted his horse and led the hunt over the bright, frosty ground. The hard winter sun rose above the hilltops, and the clouds reached across the skies with long, rosy fingers. The huntsman released the hounds at the edge of the woods, and as the horns blew all around, some of the whippets caught the scent of the fox. The hounds soon caught up, panting hard, and some of the huntsmen caught sight of a fleeting red flash. The fox doubled back, dodged through the hedgerows, paddled across streams, slipped through prickly thickets, slid between narrow rocks, and many times the hounds lost his cunning scent, only to catch it again minutes later, while in the castle our noble knight lay sleeping, resting his strong limbs.